All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to do something a little bit different, but honestly incredibly fascinating. Usually we take these huge, sprawling documents and distill them down for you. But today we're doing the exact opposite. We are embarking on a highly concentrated, almost meditative deconstruction of the teachings and writings originating from Lifechanyuan, specifically from Guide Shufeng. And we aren't looking at a whole book today, no. We are looking at a single, profoundly dense string of text. So get ready, because we're going to extract literally every ounce of structural logic from it.
So here's a question for you to chew on. How much meaning can actually be hidden in a single line of text? It's kind of a fun challenge, right? Think about it. Without relying on any outside assumptions and without bringing in external philosophies, what can the pure architecture of just one sentence tell us? When we're really focused, we don't just skim headings. We dissect them. We pull them apart piece by piece. So today's exploration is going to meticulously unpack this extremely brief philosophical artifact, treating it like a treasure map, where every single character is a deliberate coordinate just waiting to be discovered.
And here it is. This is our complete, raw source text for today. In Pinyin, it reads, Renjen 36 da Bagua Gen D 19 Gen Shufeng. Translated into English, this gives us human array, 36 Bagua arrays, 19th array, Shufeng. That is our entire universe for this explainer. I really wanted to establish this absolute boundary right out of the gate. We aren't guessing what the rest of the document says, and we definitely aren't making leaps of faith. We're looking purely at how this specific title is engineered to convey crucial information before the actual text even begins. It's really an exercise in pure deduction.
Now, what's really interesting is where we're going to start our analysis. Actually, let's start at the very end of the text, Shufeng. By isolating the name Shufeng, we immediately establish the author, the guide, and the exact origin point of this specific Lifechanyuan teaching. It instantly grounds the whole abstract concept that comes before it into a specific, recognizable voice. This isn't just some anonymous ancient folklore passed down through the centuries. This is a structured teaching with a designated guide. It anchors the whole framework and tells us for sure there is a deliberate mind behind this architecture.
So moving backward through the phrase, the next thing that absolutely hits us is this number, 36. Just pause for a second and feel the sheer numerical scale and the weight of the grand framework we're about to enter. The number 36 in any structural system immediately implies breadth, right? It implies a massive scope. It tells the reader that whatever we are looking at is merely one piece of a vast, meticulously planned puzzle. You aren't just reading a standalone random thought, you are stepping into a very extensive, multi-layered environment.
Let's expand on that number a bit. The text explicitly defines this macrostructure as the 36 Bagua arrays. So the absolute crucial point here is that we're dealing with an overarching architectural framework. The term array or formation suggests a deliberate, strategic, and deeply interconnected system. By placing this right in the title, Shufeng is telling us something vital. Before you even look at the subject matter, you have to understand it exists within a 36-part sequence. Everything is connected. You are entering a massive, structured blueprint where every single part relies on the others.
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole dynamic of the text. Notice the juxtaposition we have going on. We have the macro scale, the full 36 Bagua arrays, pitted directly against the microfocus, the 19th array. The title acts exactly like a massive zoom lens on a camera. It takes our attention from the vast 36-part universe and snaps it directly onto one singular, highly specific node. It's an incredibly efficient way to orient a reader's mind, seamlessly transitioning our perspective from the universal right down to the specific, and doing it all in just a handful of words. Which, of course, brings us to this specific node, 19. Why the number 19? Well, let's pause and look at it within the context of 36. The 18th stage would be exactly halfway, right? So the 19th array sits just across that threshold. It is literally the very first step into the second half of this grand framework. Now, while the text doesn't explicitly tell us what stages 1 through 18 actually were, the deliberate isolation of the number 19 demands that we recognize this transition. This isn't just a random point picked out of a hat. It's a precisely pinpointed coordinate in a much larger journey, representing a crossing over into a brand new phase. And finally, we reach the very beginning of the string of text, which is the core subject matter itself, dramatically revealed to us as the human array. Out of all the possible cosmic, natural, or philosophical concepts that could populate a massive 36-stage system, this 19th stage, this absolutely crucial pivot point just past the halfway mark, is specifically designated for humanity. It takes the deeply abstract and makes it profoundly personal to us.
It places the whole human concept into a highly structured relational context within the much larger universe of the arrays.
Okay, let's take a step back and see how this builds our understanding entirely from scratch. Follow the logic here because it's brilliant. From a single cryptic sentence, Xu has provided a complete roadmap. Step 1, we have the source, the guide. Step 2, we're introduced to the macro framework, the 36 arrays. Step 3, we are given precise coordinates, the 19th array. And Step 4, we are handed the core subject, the human array. It's an absolute masterclass in data compression. We know exactly who is speaking, the massive scale of the universe they're speaking about, exactly where we are located in that universe, and precisely what we are looking at, all in one line.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought to ponder. Based purely on the structural data provided in this one line from Lifechanyuan, what does it actually mean for humanity to be positioned exactly at the 19th stage of a 36-stage array? What came before us in those first 18 arrays, and what on earth follows in the remaining 17? We don't have the contents of the actual text today, just the title. But by meticulously analyzing its structure, we can clearly see how Xu positions humanity not as the center of the universe, but as a very specific, structured component within a much larger, guided design. And that is a perspective that certainly leaves you wanting to explore the rest of the text, doesn't it? Until next time, keep decoding the details.